cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mí.
Securing C! We have captured C!
Let's face it, getting backcapped stinks. But that never has to happen to you again, and that's the subject of this video. I'll give you 5 tips on how to secure your rear area so you don't get backcapped or spawn camped. The first thing to think about is how you think about things. One of the guys I play with regularly said it really well. Most players don't think beyond what they can see in their scope. Don't do that. Think outside of your scope. Think in terms of the whole map. Backcappers do. The little guy that you're watching run around now, he's the guy that got C at the beginning of this video. You've been watching him move to Charlie all the way from his initial spawn behind Alpha, and you'll notice he never got shot at, he never even got seen. That's because his team wasn't thinking past the objective and the immediate area around it. So tip number 1 in securing your team's rear area: think about the whole map. Here's the big picture of that portion of the farmhouse map where what we've been watching happened. Here is the insurgent spawn and the security spawn with B in between. Most of the fighting is going to happen in this general area, and that's about all of the map that people are generally thinking about while playing Bravo. In the match that we've been watching, the backcapper actually left all the way from the initial spawn behind A and went to Charlie here. Here's the route that he took to get there. You can understand why he didn't get shot at or even seen. He went all the way around the enemy's focus area. He just gambled that the enemy wouldn't be paying attention to the area outside where most people pay attention, and in this case, he won. So it's your job to pay attention to the whole map, or at least the part of it where backcappers might be a threat, something like this. Now look at that route. Now it's well within your area of focus, and you stand a pretty good chance of catching that backcapper. Now that's a pretty huge area. How in the world can you cover all of that? Well, that's tip number 2. Secure your flanks. The good news is, you really just need one person to cover that area. A sniper, or maybe a gunner, and put him right here, in the red ruins. You're right next to Charlie, so you can cover that approach, but also, you've got a great field of fire that cuts straight across the approach to Bravo. Here are the red ruins from the street, just so you know what I'm talking about. And here's that awesome view from the top floor. And look at that, there goes a spawn camper. And right there, behind you and to the right through that window, is Charlie. So just one player in that spot is in a position to shoot or at least call out pretty much any wide flanker, whether they're spawn campers or backcappers. And pretty much every objective is going to have a similar position. Tip number 2 goes hand in hand with tip number 3. Watch the next objective. We just saw an example of how to do that from red ruins on Farmhouse. Well, here's another example from the same map, but this time the insurgents are defending Alpha. Did you notice the guy that spawned in and immediately ran away from Alpha? Here's where he went. That's B, but what good is he doing to defend A? Here's the map. That's security spawn, that's A, and here's our gunner on B. His primary field of fire is straight down the road that security has to cross to get to the objective. Nice. And here's what happens when flankers try to take advantage of the restricted zone. No flanks for those two, but it turns out there was a third guy with them.
I'm on Bravo.
A backcapper. Flankers down, backcap prevented. But the next objective isn't always a good defensive position for the current objective. Crossing is a good example of this. Here's the map of the insurgents defending B, and C is all the way back here. But look at this. Here's your spawn. It's right at C. Each time you spawn in, you have a great opportunity to check C for backcappers. So make sure you take that opportunity. Look what 8 out of the 9 guys that just spawned missed. Well, make that all 9. We just saw that security player on Charlie while the insurgents spawn, but we can learn a couple of things watching him get there in the first place. Here we go. Okay, that's great. One of your teammates just saw a backcapper enter the objective and shot at him but missed. But that's all right. Now he's going to investigate and clear him out. Let's watch. Disappointing. He checked downstairs and the stairway, but not here, 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 or here. And not here either. Fail. He looked at him and shot at him, but then just went away. Backcappers don't just evaporate. They stay until you make them leave. And that brings us to tip number 4. Don't lose the current objective. Goes without saying, right? But even if you're thinking about the whole map, you're protecting your flanks, and you're checking the next objective, sometimes a backcapper will still sneak through. What then? Well, nothing. As long as the backcapper is on the next objective, he's absolutely helpless. He can't shoot, he can't cap. So if you don't find him, he's not hurting anything back there. You just worry about shooting his teammates on the current objective. Remember, backcappers don't leave until you make them. And one way to make them is kill all of their teammates so that they're forced to play the current objective. Once they figure out that their team can't cap the current point, the backcapper's in for a rough ending. And it usually goes about like this. The backcapper's dead teammates get to spectate him sprinting back to the current point. Meanwhile, your team is cleaning up the point and waiting for that final doomed push by the last man standing. You win, backcapping team loses. And here's our final point, point number 5. Don't defend what is lost. Now, I'm not going to spend much time on this one at all, but sometimes even the best teams lose objectives.
They took Alpha!
When that happens, leave the point you lost and immediately sprint to the next point and set up for your defense there. If you hang around the point that you just lost thinking that you're going to get a few extra kills, you might, but ultimately you're going to die and shorthand your team. You're a lot more useful on the point or on the flank than you are in spectator's purgatory after getting shot. So don't defend what is lost. And there you have it, 5 tips to secure your rear area and make sure you never get backcapped or spawn camped again. Number 1, think about the whole map. Consider routes that backcappers and spawn campers might take to get into position. 2, secure your flanks. Put that map knowledge to use. Use it to position yourself in such a way that you can cut off approaches that backcappers and spawn campers might take. 3, watch the next objective. Set up where you can see it and get to it easily, or when you spawn in, run a quick check and make sure there are no backcappers in place. If there are, deal with them mercilessly. 4, don't lose the current objective. By defending the objective, you make the backcapper impotent. He can't do a thing until you lose the objective you're defending. And number 5, don't defend what is lost. You've already lost it, move on. Quickly set up to defend that next position. Don't let backcappers and spawn campers get ahead of you and get in place. So there you have it, 5 tips to help you secure your rear area and free yourself from worry about backcappers and spawn campers. I hope this has helped you. Enjoy the game. GG's, and thanks for watching.